Home with Tracy and the Big D, and joining us now is Cassie from the band Darlinghurst. Cassie, congratulations. Picture Frame is the latest single out, and it's been out for about 6 weeks now. A question I want to ask straight up is, how is it different from releasing a single in today's times and everything we're going through as to what it was with your second single?
I think it's big unknown territory. You know, no one really knew or knows or did know how it was going to go given the current situation and circumstances. So for me, I felt like I was, treading water a little bit, but gratefully it done fairly well. So, no complaints.
A lot more social media interaction with your fans. Is this something that once all the restrictions are lifted, and is this something that you think you'll probably do more of in the future?
Yeah, look, I think that's the way it's kind of heading regardless, and I think this has kind of given everyone a chance to realise that if we end up falling back in this pattern again, whether it be COVID or something else, we have to engage somehow with our fans, not just, through the normal media platforms that we're used to. So I think it's caused everyone to think outside the box a little, which is never a bad thing.
Darlinghurst was a bit of an unknown factor when we got to Tamworth earlier on this year, but it's fair to say that most people knew of you guys by the time you were finished. So many shows around the place. Apart from melting, what do you reckon you really took out of Tamworth this year?
Well, apart from meeting you guys, it was awesome to meet you guys. I also feel that it just felt like family. I don't think I've ever been around. I mean, I've been in the music industry for a long time, but, the country scene is quite magical, and for me, other than meeting and catching up with people, putting faces to names and all that sort of stuff, it was quite an amazing and surreal experience, and one that certainly surpassed anything that I could have imagined. I'm just looking forward to getting back there again.
We're asking everyone to gaze into the crystal ball or look at their tarot cards or anything and tell us what lies in the future. So what are some of the things you'd like to tick off with the other band members?
One, we'd like to get our album out. That would be a real feather in our cap to get our first album out. And obviously that's been held up a little just due to the fact that we've all had to isolate. Also, Tamworth, 100%, we've got to get back there. I mean, I don't think that it would be right not to have that festival at all. Nashville's something that we'd like to look at doing, but we've always maintained that, we really want to conquer the ground as much as we can here on our own soil before we start venturing overseas. But that would definitely be a pipe dream that we would love to, cross off the list.
Are you doing more writing?
Yeah, we've been doing lots of it, which has been fantastic. It's great now because we can actually be in the same room, but up until, I think, last week, we couldn't do it. So all our writing sessions were done probably exactly the same as everybody else via Zoom or on Skype. It was interesting just because the environment and the atmosphere, even bouncing off each other, is completely different when you're in flesh, in front of each other as opposed to through a computer. So it was just getting your head around that process. But once we pushed through, we've come up with what I consider to be some great songs. Whether or not they make the cut, I don't know. We just kept working. We just did as much as we could. And like you said before, we've had a bigger presence on social media than we usually do. That's something that, I think we just need to continue to do.
I think the fans like to keep that as well because they're sort of like, well, they're our friends. And that's what I think becomes the family, which becomes the country music industry. But we're going to pop your links onto the podcast here and people can just go straight to all your sites. But if they are going to think about purchasing the song Picture Frame, what sort of song and what's behind the Picture Frame itself?
If they are to go or they want to purchase the actual song, then Spotify, Apple Music, all those platforms, they can actually download it from that. The song itself is really quite, it's unusual that it came out when it did because it rings true to what's going on with people because they haven't been able to see anybody. Photos and those things and memories have been the thing that most people are holding on to. Picture Frame ended up becoming quite a funny little song given, the time that we actually released it.
People were doing it Picture Frame or, as you say, Zoom, Facebook, FaceTime, all those sort of things. Cassie, it's been great to catch up with you tonight. We look forward to doing it in the flesh, as you say, maybe Tamworth next year. Darlinghurst is the name of the band, and Picture Frame is their third single of their upcoming album, and we will find out more about that in the future. The band members, Cassie, Pagan, Jason and Matt, make sure you pass on all of our regards to those, and we will catch up real soon.